Welcome to From the Jump, your source for all things hip hop. I'm Syllable. This is my co-host,
Mr. White.
and today we're going to be reviewing some J. Cole songs, some Lil Yachty songs. We're going to be reviewing some Kid Cudi songs, some fresh new tunes that have just hit the public. And for our first very track that we're going to start reviewing, live reacting to, is The Secret. So we're going to start playing that and hear what new music is popping out. All right. So we got Yachty coming out with some bars. So he's talking about having his cars. He's talking about his blunts. He's talking about how he's getting ready. Let's hear the rest. All right. So we see W switching up his style within the verse. He's got more aggressive bars, but then he slows down for a bit for something more reflective. Bob Barker.
Yeah, that's an interesting reference right there.
It's pretty funny. I just I saw this How I Met Your Mother, and one of the guys in there, Barney, he thought Bob Barker was his real dad. It was very funny.
So it's interesting. They just look like they at a regular auditorium, not like a stadium and anything crazy. They just
They're just hanging out.
A little music
Like
hall with a little drum kit on stage. Nothing crazy.
No, it sounds like almost like a cafeteria at a gym or high school.
It's got a
something like
cipher
that.
vibe to it.
Yeah.
You know, the beat as well is jazzy, but it's very like repetitive.
Of course, J. Cole coming off introspective from the very beginning. One thing I like about J. Cole is he definitely keeps in mind the youth as well as the next generation.
Yeah.
And he's got a lot of reflective bars where he's able to integrate that it's not just about his journey, but his journey as an influencer, as a leader. I really like that about J. Cole. In addition to the fact that when he wants to go hard, he can go hard.
Well, absolutely. And I mean, I think when he talks about like no role models, I think one of the things that he wants to be is a role model, is be a father figure. That's why he's trying not to be into the jewelry and the flashy lifestyle that everybody else is into.
Yeah.
Because he wants to lead by example, right?
Yeah.
I don't think he's doing it just to be like, you know how people like anti-hero or they just want to be
anti-establishment for the sake of being
exactly
anti-establishment.
Like, oh, I'm against the culture. It's like, no, he wants to reestablish what he believes culture really is, and it has nothing to do with a lot of the stuff we've been doing recently.
Agreed. I think we need more cultural leaders like J. Cole in there, who not only has skill but also has a sense of community and culture around hip hop instead of just trying to make, the greenbacks. Peaked how they profit off of racial stress.
We talked about this before, though,
man,
and we talked about the fact that it's sad that you got these artists getting in, making a lot of change, but there's no development in terms of what you would see. For instance, like if somebody went and played college football, they would have like a coach, like Coach Prime is real popular right now, Deion Sanders. But the reason why he's getting popularity is because he's a motivational leader. He wants to see these kids grow. He makes them dress up in suits to go to the game, and he's making men. He's not trying to just have a whole bunch of kids running around following after crazy stuff, trying to go to jail and all of that. Like he wants them to be future leaders, and that's a crazy thing. It's like a lot of people latch on to hip hop as their first way out, and it's like once you get into the industry, they're not going to help you become a better man.
They're definitely not going to teach you how to manage the money of that advance that they gave you, which is just a fucking loan. All it is, record labels are essentially the new loan servicing company for the hip hop community. But the whole
predatory loans, like it might as well be the biggest payday loan you can get, right?
You might as well be fucking renting a car from Dog to Bounty Hunter in this bitch. Like it's ridiculous. So like profiting off of like racial stress, it's crazy because I think we also have as a predatory practice of what type of hip hop that record labels even want to promote for what they want to put money behind is behind things that they think encourage the stereotypical black behavior in a white person's ignorant eyes so they can promote crime and that pipeline to privatize prisons. And I think J. Cole, especially working with the youth in the communities, not just from an ivory tower, but actually in the streets like Nipsey Hussle, he's able to see firsthand that it is predatory and what's encouraged, right? Because it's not just about like, I'm going to rap, I'm going to become rich. It's what style of life are you supporting? What role model are you being to the youth? Not everyone has to go around acting like they're the next MLK or anything, but at the same time, having that understanding that you are being manipulated within a system that is designed to keep people of color in subsidiary positions, right? And then saying, how do you play into that?
It's tough because
hip hop.
I would also like to look at the general concept of everybody doesn't have to be like MLK per se, but also is that a bad thing? Like, why do we live in a culture now where influencers are allowed to be really ignorant, really disrespectful, distasteful, and it's like people are like aligning themselves with these influencers who don't have any respect for culture, who don't care about where society goes. They're trying to catch a check instead of aligning themselves with the future leaders or potentially the past leaders that we look at as an example of how people should lead them lives. It's like, I don't think it's anything wrong with being like MLK, and people shouldn't be like, oh, that's old school, or man, that's too preachy, or whatever.
I think it just comes down to your marketing plan.
Yeah.
It's just maybe people that want to support stereotypical bullshit, they just have better marketing plans, right?
They do. I mean, you put some money behind it, and that's who's gonna show up. Yeah.
But let's continue hearing what are the jewels that J. Cole's gonna drop.
And I laugh, that's cause you ain't a threat. Don't ask how shit they okay, I guess. Incoming car, press the button. Except he FaceTime to ask for a feature and saw the face of death. I'm on your song.
God damn. Face of death. What did he say in that other song with Lil Durk? He's like, I'll go to hell if Jesus asks for a feature.
That was on the song with him and Benny the Butcher.
Benny the Butcher, that's what it was. Yeah. That was a nice line.
I like how it's such a cool, laid back video. It's not, once again, there's no big budget here. They just, it's like they just chilling, like when we freestyle.
They're just hanging out.
Yeah, vibing.
That's crazy. I love that rhyme scheme. That's very nice. Very visually descriptive.
Mm-hmm. What? And they just walk off. Like, we done here. We did our thing. It's over with. All
That's
right.
it.
Good luck, guys. How many views on it right now?
We got, let's see,
123,000. No, 1.3 mil. Okay, that
1.3 million views.
Yeah, and it's number 6 on the trending. Yes. Yeah, it'll probably hit about 5 or 6 mil.
No, this is dope.
Maybe even more.
It's nice when music that actually does have a message that is conscious can get on the charts. I like that. I was working out today doing some ab workouts, and music is really good to motivate you, whether you're having a bad day, you just got fired, you're trying to get your workout, or whatever, or you're traveling. And it's always a debate for me, like, what music should I work out to? And a lot of times I've worked out to Lupe Fiasco's like Drill Music in Zion or The Cool or things like that. Very motivating.
Yeah.
Listening to the Go Watch, doing my weighted crunches or hanging leg raises. But today I chose Asheru. Now Asheru is the rapper that made the soundtrack for the Boondocks. I Was the Stone that the Build refused.
Yeah.
Right, I had a chance to build with him and the National Hip Hop Political Convention in Vegas back in the day, and I'm listening to his album, and it's interesting because he's got cool background instrumentals, but there's a mix of consciousness.
Yeah.
Where he's really talking about real stuff, and for me, I was like, you know what, that helped improve my workout. Like I felt more motivated working out because I wasn't listening to some FUBU or some bullshit, but some actual substance. And I think there's something to be said about that.
Well, I think it's also cool that, we talked about it before. Depending on the song that Lil Yachty is on, he changes, he morphs. Like
That's true.
He has the ability to rap really well, and you could hear that on this track. Versus on other tracks, he just plays around. And I think he just knows where his audience is. He knows what song he's on. He knows who he's rapping with. Maybe for a solo track, he doesn't go all out on it. But when he's on a track with J. Cole, all of a sudden he got bars. Like he was like, where was that on the last song that he did? It was like the whatever that song was that we reviewed recently.
Oh man, I forgot what it was called, but it was definitely a lot more fluff. It was very color
it was just a
coordinated.
different song. It was a totally different song, and it's interesting that he's able to play on both sides of those lines, right? Like, kind of playing to people calling him so-called mumble rapper,
or
right?
bubblegum rapper.
Yeah, but then all of a sudden he's on track with J. Cole, and it's like I really want to hear how he sounds on this song with JID, because I think that he's also like the leaders of that new hip hop sound, right?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. And
coming from that SoundCloud era rap.
Yeah, but like lyrical, and JID also is on J. Cole's label, so they're definitely lined up like that.
Well, one of the things I like about JID is that he has a very interesting rhythm with how he chooses to rap. And we've talked about Travis Scott. We've talked about how Scott will switch up, have a dropout, and halfway through the song or a bridge, and then do something completely different. Well, I like it when you can do that in a very seamless manner. And JID's whole style is he'll go on and he'll rap in one particular rhythm, and then in the middle of the song, he'll just switch it up. But it's not janky. It's not something that is hard to follow or hard to keep track of.
Yeah.
It's very seamless how he switches up his rhythm. And I think that's really dope. I think people that are versatile like that really keep you guessing as to what's coming next, versus like some underground rappers that maybe they don't have a flow yet, or they try to jump around too much. They have an established style.
Yeah, and I mean, it's hard to approach a track like that because you don't necessarily know if your audience is going to receive it well. I mean, people like switch ups, but he could come very abrasive with the styles where he's going, kind of the shotgun approach with his speed, and then kind of switching up out of nowhere. So I like what he does overall. I'm like I said, I'm very interested to see what he does on this track with Yachty. Is Yachty gonna bring it again on here? Let's see.
Yeah, I'm definitely curious about that. So let's
put it in a theater mode.
So let's
for the audience.
Let's just take a listen.
Hit the that expansion button. I don't know why. Like went to the corner.
Just grab the link real fast.
So I mean, this has definitely been a cool time in hip hop. I know a lot of people are trying to say that hip hop is like dying, or it's like it's falling off the map. I just think there's a transition, and there's always transitions in music where some of the old sound is gonna go away. Some of the older artists are gonna change their sound, right? Like we've heard, artists like Gucci Mane all of a sudden have kind of a renaissance where instead of just talking about being gangster, like He's talking about being an entrepreneur.
Phil Collins. I don't
Say, I'm from Atlanta, the diamonds of Africa. I don't know algebra. I've been in the mouth of the South, not a
Okay, so now we have another transformation.
A lot of people don't know when Yachty first came out, he was actually a speed rapper. Like not his very first track, but he was doing some songs with Carnage, who was a big like trap step EDM DJ, and he has some pretty fast songs. So like, I'm not shocked that he's on a track with JID and he's able to kind of trade bars with him. This is a cool song too.
Yeah.
Like I said, once again, it's interesting that when he's on songs with other people, he just shows another side of himself.
So let's see him on a song with Tech Nine. That's
I don't know.
So
is that gonna sound good though? It's just because it's fast.
I just want to see if he can do it. I want to see how he can keep up because you never know.
Yeah,
I mean,
I wonder if that style translates. Tech Nine, it gets on a lot of anthem style beats,
of course.
Yeah, so
but I'd be interested if he's able to be that versatile.
Yeah,
because you never know. During Scribble Jam, actually, way back in the day, I forget when this was. This was a long time ago, but Dose One, underground hip hop artist from Cloudhead, from Anticon days, from the underground hip hop record labels. He competed against Eminem and actually won in a rap battle against Eminem. And not many people know about this vintage stuff because some of these underground artists, they may not have as big of a following, but they have this real interesting, diverse set of skills. And so
it takes a lot more than just rap to be able to make it in the industry, right?
Yeah,
you have to have a character, you have to be able to sustain an image.
Yeah. So I would be interested to see how versatile can Yachty get.
traveler. Give it a dick with a curve of parabola. I'm a spatula, I flip an amateur, Pamela, and
curve of parabola. I like that. I have not heard parabolas used in hip hop that often.
This is why I love JID.
It doesn't matter how big you are, because if you know leverage, if you know fighting moves, I know from jiu-jitsu that the lower you are to the ground, the better your center of gravity. So it doesn't matter how big or small you are. If you got the Mr. Miyagi moves, you can flip a motherfucker.
Yeah, I was
fast.
hearing this debate. It was this guy who's a big power lifter, big 6'4" dude, could probably be like more like a strong man. But he had as a podcast, and he's talking to all of these actual MMA fighters.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, I think I could take you. But they like, not in our sport, like maybe in a street fight, potentially. Right. But at the same time, if it's a street fight, I'm gonna move differently, just like you're gonna move differently.
Yes.
Like, I'm gonna be way more dangerous, and I'm a fighter. Like you're not, like you're an athlete, you're big, but you're not a fighter. So it's like it's things that people take for granted from people who are like big and strong versus somebody who trains to fight.
Well, you also have to think about stamina.
Yeah, that's a huge one in fighting.
Like if you're trying to bulk up, that's not always going to help you in boxing. You got to be lean, you got to be fast, you got to like having that endurance. And
how many street fight ends like you gotta stand up for about 20 seconds and then they scuffle on the ground for 4 minutes, like and then it's done. Like street fights do not last but maybe 3 or 4 minutes max. Like there's no rounds. Like
it depends on the situation. I've been in a few street fights, but I like what he's talking about because again, size does not matter.
Yeah.
And JID is not a very tall guy, but I wouldn't run up on JID.
I know they're trying to be a big.
Tell me to go to hell. I'll be waiting and I'll see you there.
Yeah, no, I fuck with that. No fear.
No. It reminds me of actually. When I had a gun pulled on me when I was 16, when I told the dude that had the gun, I said, you better make sure you aim to kill because I'm going to come back and haunt you as a ghost if you don't. That's the same kind of.
I don't fuck no Kenzo. Double see me in the bando. I'm going to just fuck on a foul. This shit art. Bango.
So it's interesting. He's been publicized as a kind of artist that doesn't really do the rap vixens and hoes. Like he's so focused on his money that he'll bring a chick around and they'll be expecting to like exploit him, be like, oh, you gonna fuck, pay me, buy me a bag, and he like, nah, I just brought you over here to hang out. Like I don't, you know what I'm saying? And it's like I respect that because it's like, most rappers, they just gonna basically fall for the trap, end up. This is probably why Lil Yachty doesn't have 15 kids because he keeps niggas in pants,
didn't he have that beef with that white girl that was trying to interview him and Drake and all that?
Yeah, that was she was weird, man.
Well,
she like came up and I think she's falling off, but I think she's still getting interviews.
She was trying to talk shit about him when he was willing to grant her an audience, and that's where it's kind of like.
And he was mad because she was talking shit about Drake, and obviously he's very close friends with Drake. It's like, how you gonna bring me on and you talk shit about my homie. Like, get the fuck out of
she
here.
felt
man.
just because she was able to get Drake in there that now she's
Yeah.
untouchable, or she's somehow cool or has style or street cred. When really you have
Once
to understand,
again, we know why
when,
she got on.
when you operate at that level, when you talking to industry greats, when you talk to people at that level, and I know from working with the Universal Music, is that you have to ask them when is good for them. You
Yeah.
don't dictate to them the terms of how you interact with them, because
Well,
that shows
I mean,
a lot of
there's two sides of the coin of that, but yes, you shouldn't be disrespectful. You should have tact. You should be able to engage with those
Yeah.
people in a way that makes sense and not be disrespectful. You need to give them their credibility and not talk down on people, not treat this shit like it's high school. Like, these are multi-millionaire businessmen. Right. And whether you look at them like, whether you look at them like that or not, because you're in their personal space.
Yeah.
They're larger than life. I mean, that's just what it is.
So Malik Yusuf just recently was saying that, he knows Jay-Z and he's friends with Jay-Z. And when he wants to work with Jay-Z, he has to do it in a very respectful manner where he contacts Jay-Z and lets him know first that he'd like to work together.
Yeah.
When is his schedule free? What's good for him?
Because I'm sure he's busy as hell.
Right.
Be like, hey, bro, I need a song right now. Like,
drop me a verse. Drop me a verse, Jay. Like, it's not like that. So you got to understand, while you don't want to be disrespected by someone else, no matter what their status or rank is, when you deal with people that are industry greats, that are at that level, you can't have such casual disregard and act like it's a high school. It's not.
That's that. I mean, and that's that new money vibe versus old money vibe. It's like some people get in the game and they don't have respect, but I think that usually backfires on most people. So,
I agree. Well, that will probably cause you bad mental health if that backfires. And speaking of mental health, we have one of our favorite artists, Kid Cudi, who's always been a leader in the mental health space meets hip hop. I love his lyrics. I love his honesty and sincerity and his ability to be candid about his own struggles and overcoming them. Here we have a new song with Lil Durk, who has been making some moves.
I think this could be good.
I'm very curious. I've never heard them together.
Guitar in My Room, though.
Guitar in My Room. I'm not a big fan of the title. I'm just going to say right away, not a fan of the title.
Hey, the video going to be fire. It's Cole Bennett.
We'll see. I like Cole Bennett.
I've never seen a bad Cole Bennett.
Before you ever get a job, get a gun? What's going on here?
What's the context?
I don't. Okay, kids, stay in school, but get guns. What's going on here?
I mean, maybe he's just talking about the context of growing up in an urban environment where it's like,
I hope so.
Yeah, going to school is cool, or getting a job is cool, but you got to keep yourself alive, I guess, if you don't make it to work back.
Always around our friends, I take vacations alone. Must
that
not
makes
like
sense.
Must not like your friends very much.
That makes sense because you
need some space.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like he don't want to take his friends with him because he's always there with them. I get that.
I hear horror stories from friends who have tried to travel together. I've never traveled with friends. I've always been solo.
I've tried to, but I had this one time in Vegas. We went out with a couple, me and my wife, and let's just say that couple ended up breaking up on that trip. And it did not make the trip better for us. There was a couple times where we had to split up from them so that we can enjoy our trip in Vegas. Because we were just like, clearly y'all not at this point.
That reminds me of a Friends episode where the parents of Rachel were having a fight and trying to argue. So they had like two separate parties, like one's in Joey's room, like one in Monica's apartment. And they're trying to keep them apart because anytime they got together, they kept arguing and really killing the vibe of the party. So that's funny. But let's see what else they got. Them glasses are no joke. They got some serious shades on.
Yeah.
Let's fast forward. Let's hear what Cudi's got.
Okay, he's getting into some action.
That's interesting. He's got a nice rhythm there. We also see the video is again Lyrical Lemonade yellow themed. This is probably the third Lyrical Lemonade.
I mean, it's lemonade. Lemonade's yellow. I mean, I don't. I think it's smart, right?
Yeah,
good, Brandon.
He's got the yellow tie and he's got the yellow curtain.
It definitely has vibes like the Corday and Juice WRLD video.
Yeah, the posthumous.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Nice.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
nice.
He's a master with those visual effects.
Right on. Oh, we got a credit roll.
Yeah. Outro, little B-roll, little post movie,
bloopers track.
Yeah, exactly. Outtakes and stuff like that. I mean, overall, I don't think it's a bad track. I mean, that's probably something I probably go play for the lady. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, it's a nice background.
Yeah, I think that the guitar wasn't bad. And I think that the concept of the song was cool. I think Kid Cudi and Durk work well together voice wise, right? They both have those melodic type voices, so I think it's dope that they were able to do that.
Yeah, I agree. So we appreciate you guys tuning in to From the Jump. What did you think of those last 3 tracks that we played? Do you agree with our reaction? Do you disagree? What do you think is coming up next that you're looking forward to the most in new hip hop? Comment below, like and subscribe, and tune in for another episode of
From the Jump.